was running from his brother Esau. Jacob had tricked his brother out of their father's blessing, and now Esau was so angry. He wanted to kill him. Oh no, I don't think so. He's gonna kill that man. Let's go. So Jacob was traveling east to the land where his grandfather Abraham was born. So Jacob traveled. So he was also to choose a wife from his grandfather's family. Early on a warm afternoon, he came to a well in the fields outside the town of Haran. The well was just like one that his grandfather's servant had come to many years before. Wait, what up? Many years before, when he was looking for a wife, Isaac, it may have been the very same one. The flocks of sheep were lying in fields beside the well, waiting for the shepherds to water them. When a large stone covering the well, and all the shepherds had to wait until all the shepherds were there before they could move it. I just want to say something about Esau was so angry and he wanted to kill Jacob. Please comment down below if that's really gonna happen. Now let's get to chapter 2 with our story. Let's see. Or take a look. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So Jacob came up to the shepherds and said, "My friends, where you are from?" "From Haran," they asked. "Then you must know my uncle Laban. He is from Haran," Jacob said. "Yes, we do," the shepherds answered. Is he well?" Jacob asked. "He is well indeed," the shepherds said. "And look, here comes his daughter Rachel now, with this flock of sheep." Jacob said, "Let's roll back to the stone so we can water the sheep." We can't. The stone is too heavy," the shepherds answered. "We have to wait until the shepherds are here." In that moment, Rachel arrived with her father's sheep. When Jacob's eyes met Rachel, the world came to stop crying of the sheep. The laughing and talking of the shepherds, it all seemed to disappear. It was as if there were no one else in all the world but the two of them. Jacob felt so deeply crazy in love with Rachel, that he walked over to that huge stone and rolled it away himself. Here now you may have You may water your sheep, he said to Rachel. And then he kissed her. Mwah. I'm your relative, your Aunt Rebecca. Ha is my mother. He told her at last. Rachel ran home to tell her father that all that happened. When her father heard the news, he ran to meet Jacob. He hugged and kissed his nephew. He had known until now, and brought him to his home. When Jacob had told his story, Laban said, "Are you indeed my own flesh and blood?" And so Jacob stayed with his uncle's family for a whole month. The Laban said to Jacob, "You shouldn't have to work for me for nothing. Just because you are my relative, can I pay you?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. Rachel was the younger and Leah was the older. Leah had beautiful eyes, but Jacob was in love with Rachel. So Jacob said, "I'll work for you for 7 years. If you will let me marry your daughter Rachel." Oh my God. No. Please don't tell me. So now let's get to our third page with our story today. But that page, it looked like a little bit romantic. But now you have to read the important stuff now. So I just came back from school for now. So now let's get to our page 3 with our story today. Let's get started. Laban said, "I would rather give her to you than to anyone else." And so Jacob worked for his uncle for 7 years. But to Jacob, the years seemed like nothing at all. Just to be near that one he loved was enough to fill his heart. Finally, the day came that Jacob worked for all those years. At last, Laban gave his daughter Rachel to be married. There was a great wedding feast, and at night, under the sky of shining stars, Rachel came out to Jacob's tent. She was wrapped from her head to her foot in layers of vellies and flowing robes. Jacob took her by the hand and led her inside. He wrapped his arms around her and held her tight. They were along each other at last, and that night, in the eyes of God, Rachel became Jacob's wife. You got to hear the good part of the story. And he became her husband. Aww, that's really romantic. Before that night, there were 2 separate people. Now God had joined the 2 together, and they become one family. The 2 became one. But when the light of morning came, Jacob awoke to a big surprise. It wasn't Rachel he had married at all. It was her sister Leah he was lying beside. Jacob jumped from his bed and ran straight to the tent where his uncle Laban. You tricked me. You promised me Rachel, but you gave me Leah instead. Well, look who's talking. The cheater got cheated. He didn't like it very much. Laban said to him, "It wasn't your custom to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older. Work for me another seven years. And I'll give you Rachel as well." So Jacob agreed, and Jacob and Rachel were married at last. So let's get to our conclusion with our Bible story hour today. Jacob worked for his uncle another 7 years. He would gladly worked 100. He loved her so deeply. Next time, thank you for watching my show today. I hope you like this video. Remember one thing. Please subscribe. That's the main one rule. First, subscribe. Then comment down below what you learned today. And also comment down below if Esau would kill Jacob. So, remember, you can share this video on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And remember, always be nice to each other. And always have fun. And this is school year, come on, be nice. So I'll see you guys next time.